Okay. I would like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Northeast. Today is May 12th, 2022 at 7 o'clock. I'd like to ask everybody to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Billy, could you please conduct a roll call?
Yes. Supervisor Kennan,
Here.
Councilwoman Morrison,
Here.
Councilman Fidelli,
Here.
Councilman Midwood,
Here.
Councilman Cooper.
Here.
Thank you. You have received a copy of the agenda for this evening. I would like to add two items to the agenda. The first is an item concerning the contract which we have with Ty and Bond for doing the map plan and report on the water district in the Boulevard District for our wastewater system. That will be item number 11, and number 12 will be the resolution agreeing to a renewed recreation contract with Village of Millerton. With those two additions, I would like to ask for approval of the agenda.
With those two additions,
Could I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
here, I
Second.
Motion by Ralph,
so move.
seconded by Lana. All in favor?
I
Thank you. Okay. Couple comments for the evening. I have often started our board meetings by talking about where we are with COVID. And as we all know, we're certainly in a much better place than we were last winter. There has been an increase, as I mentioned it the last time, in cases of COVID around us. And so we are continuing to be very careful, and we will be monitoring those statistics going forward. I think it is, I know it is recommended that in situations where people are gathered together indoors in close proximity, that people continue to wear masks. And I certainly encourage people who have not been vaccinated to be vaccinated, and to also to use common sense. It's very helpful. In our meeting next month, we will have a report from Kathy Chow on some of the Climate Smart Task Force activities, including the greenhouse gas emissions study, which has been completed. We will also hear from Housatonic Valley Association regarding their new 10 Mile River watershed plan, which they have been working on for several years. The town has been a member of the 10 Mile River Watershed Association planning, which the HVA has been doing. And I look forward to hearing from them about their plan. I look forward as well, I think we all do, to hearing whether our town has achieved bronze status for Climate Smart. I mentioned last time that we submitted, Kathy Chow submitted actions which the task force has completed, which total 155 points. I think we need 120, so I hope to have good news on that. And I certainly thank all the members of the town's Climate Smart Task Force for the work that they have done on that. One of the conclusions of the work of the greenhouse gas study that has been news to many of us was that the single largest emissions of methane actually do not come from town hall, from the highway department, from the vehicles. They probably come from decaying organic material in the town's landfill. And that is something which, of course, over time will decline as there is less and less organic material in there. But the landfill is something which we don't, which we have not paid much attention to over the years. The town has received a number of suggestions. I've received a number of suggestions that we should at least examine the possibility of a solar array on the landfill. I think it is worth looking into to see what the benefits would be for the town, what the downside would be for the town, whether the town could derive economic benefit from that. And I look forward to, at a future meeting, having a discussion about that. Switching gears a little bit, I wanted to let everybody know that senior picnics are back this summer in person. And the one nearest us will be in Pine Plains at Stissing Mountain High School on Wednesday, July 13th. I'm sure you'll be able to find information about that on the county's website, and hopefully we'll put something on our website about that. On Saturday, there is going to be at Weetuck High School, there's going to be the grand opening of a school-based health clinic. And this is something that the school has been working on for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. And it is in response to the sense that there's a growing need for healthcare for many of the students who are in the school system at Weetuck. This is going to be an actual in-school health facility, which goes far beyond just having a nurse there, which we might think of as the way it used to be a few years ago. It's going to be at 10:45 in the morning on Saturday. I know it's open to the public. There are going to be a lot of public officials there, probably a bunch of speeches. But I think it is something that's worthy of note, something good that is happening at Weetuck. The town has embarked on our work for the mini grant, which we received from Hudson River Housing. We have a small little task force which is working on this, which includes our Councilman Griff Cooper. And we had our second meeting just yesterday, and we're meeting pretty much every month. The goal is to produce a report which we will give at a public meeting, which will be on, I think, August 29th.
Yep.
I believe is the date. It's a Monday. We're hoping to be able to have that at the library annex and at 6:30 p.m. There'll certainly be much more information about that as we get closer to it. The goal of this is to give us, the town board, other elected officials, a better sense of the tools that we have at our disposal to help with affordable housing. I know that I'm speaking for everybody when I say that we're frequently asked, why aren't we doing more? And this is a way for us to have a little bit of a tangible sense of what could we do, because sometimes it's difficult to know exactly where to start. So I'm very enthusiastic about that. I got a lot of questions about the Millerton Plaza. I have started meeting with different property owners out in the Boulevard District to tell them about what our plans are for wastewater system. And I've had a meeting with Bob Trotta this past week, a very good meeting to talk about the wastewater system. He's very supportive of that. Also, we are moving forward step by step to get the wastewater's next step, which is a map plan and report, which is being done by Ty and Bond engineering firm. We'll be talking about that later in the meeting. Tomorrow, I'm going to visit a food market in Connecticut that's operated by somebody who might have an interest in coming to Millerton. So I've told the people who are interested in developing this plaza that I am willing to travel anywhere, talk to anybody to sell them on the benefits of locating in Millerton. So I just want you to know that I'm working on it. One of the questions that comes up in connection with the Boulevard District, but comes up often, is that of whether we would go back and revisit the question we looked at last year regarding a cannabis dispensary. And last year, as you all recall, the town opted out of permitting either cannabis dispensaries or smoking lounges in the town. I've had the opportunity to talk to a number of people over the past 8 or 9 months about this. I know there are a variety of opinions about it, but many people who feel that it is something that we at least should be looking at. The village has permitted that. Has permitted a cannabis dispensary in the village. If the village had a dispensary, but we did not permit one in the town, we would not get any percentage of the tax revenue from that. If we permitted them, but one located in the village, we then split the tax revenues for the village. So I think it's something that we should take a look at. It's nothing we're going to do anything about tonight, but I look forward to discussing it with the board going forward. Lastly, I continue to get complaints about noise coming from the gun club. The gun club, as everybody knows, pre-existed zoning in our town, so its existence is grandfathered. It was not something that we can do anything about in that sense. But questions remain about hours of operation, size and type of guns being fired. Some people have complained that they seem to be much bigger and louder. So it's something that I hope to discuss with the management of the club. I think that's it for me for my opening comments. Department reports. Highway. Bob Stevens.
Yes. Everything's going well, with the department. We are currently working on gravel road maintenance. We'll be doing that for the remainder of May.
Mhm. And what were you finished up with? You had the bucket truck,
For the whole month of April, yes, we used it every day we could in the month of April.
right? And you were doing a lot of work, if I recall, on Skunks Misery.
Majority of it was on Stunts Fisher Road.
Mhm. Did you get pretty much everything that you wanted to accomplish
We did
done?
actually, yes.
Okay,
It was a
good.
good month.
So does the bucket truck, do you feel that the sharing arrangement that we have with the other towns works pretty well?
It works very well.
And you feel we get enough time with it?
Yes, we do. We get 2 full months every year. And if there's an emergency or something comes up, a surprise comes up where all the towns work together to help each other out.
Okay. Very good. One of the things which, Bob, you and I talked about is replacing the old entering town of Northeast signs on some of our major arteries. As I think everybody knows, the one on 22 coming north is literally illegible. And I've been after Bob for a while. He's got new signs for that, and I know that they're going to be going in soon.
On 199 too?
Yes,
Oh, that's good.
So that's really good. I'm excited about that. While we're talking about highways, we could say that while nothing is happening at the moment regarding the construction of the actual highway garage, I have heard from the engineers from CPL that the different contractors, and there are 4 different trades that are involved, are working on getting things together, and their tentative goal is to break ground in July. So we'll keep the board and everybody informed about the progress that we make up there. Okay, I think that's it, unless anybody has a question. Okay, thank you, Bob. Shelley, those are not,
Thank you.
that's just a written version. Catherine, report from the assessor.
Thank you. So just a few things, obviously, our big project has come to a close technically. My tentative roll was published as of May 1st. It is available for review by anyone from the public. It's in my office, at the town clerk's office, and of course online, which is definitely the easiest way to look at things. The link at our website. As I think I reported last month, we had gotten the new tentative values, the notices out a couple weeks ahead of time to give people extra time to review them and contact me if there was any issues, problems, and there has been a flurry of phone calls, but nothing too bad. I think our outreach and information I put out there was hopefully sufficient for people to understand why we were raising assessments and what the outcome will be. And I'm looking forward to answering more questions. We'll see how that goes. But you know, Grievance Day is rolling up upon us.
It's the 20,
It'll be the 25th of Wednesday, I'll say the 25th of May.
right? And what are the hours again?
The board meets from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We take appointments that day. The board likes to have things lined up so people aren't sitting here all day waiting for their time slot. We take appointments starting that morning, keep things organized. So anyone that's not had a chance to talk to me or hasn't been able to come to an agreement with me and has that opportunity to basically appeal to the Board of Assessment Review. That's coming up. And then the last but not least is I just have to update you on our status of exemptions. It's something that we need to report to in the budget every year. So I'd like you guys to know what's going on. This is a list of all the kinds of exemptions that are available in the town and the number of people that take advantage of them. The only thing I like to point out and yet not point out is the significant decrease in STAR and enhanced STAR exemptions.
I was noticing that.
Yes, those are going down every single year, and that's because in 2015, the state rejiggered the program where any new owners as of 2015 have to go into the state's program, which is not an exemption, but rather like a check, a refund check. And so as people sell, the exemption comes off the roll, and then they apply to the state, and that doesn't
Okay.
reflect in our numbers. So it's not like people are, all of a sudden moving out of town, which is the regular status of sales. New person comes in, they get the exemption. and
I'm glad you explained that, because as I
Yeah.
looked at it, I
It's like,
thought,
whoa, what
wow, it's
happened
really
here?
going
Yeah.
down. What's going on?
Everything else pretty much stays static year to year, little changes here and there.
Mhm.
And the only other big change is actually an increase in solar exemptions. More people obviously taking advantage of that when they put solar panels on their roof, or sometimes there's solar panels in the yards. Those are available for exemption up to 15 years.
What if somebody installs a solar panel on their roof, what does it entitle them to? An exemption, not an
Right.
exemption from taxes.
Yes, well, for the value that improvement added to the property gets exempt from taxation.
Okay,
So any improvement that they do related to that project, well, they won't have to tax for 15 years. So that encourages them to, have solar put in. Of course, the state's encouraging them with tax rebates, and this is another kind of encouragement. So that's the only other thing that you can see increasing rather than decreasing.
right, okay,
Okay.
great. Does anybody on the board have any more questions?
So, are you comfortable with the outcomes of the conversations you've had with folks so far?
So far, so good. Yeah, I think most of it is education. People see a big number, a big change, and they're like, what is going on here? And once they understand that this is happening across the town, everyone's in the same boat. We're doing it because the market is increasing. Once I've had those kinds of educational conversations, I would say 95% are like, oh, I see, okay. And, there's always a few that still want to complain, but I think education is the key.
Okay,
Thank you, gentlemen.
and And do you need to talk to the board after the conclusion of our meeting?
No, we have no other business.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thank you. Okay. Recreation Committee, do either Griff or Lana want to say anything? We have the proposed contract with the village on the agenda for tonight. I don't know if you want to say anything now or want to wait till we get to that.
Yeah, I'll let Lana take the lead if she's feeling.
Oh, okay, thanks.
if I could.
Griffin and I met with Jen and Alicia to discuss all the functions of the recreation department. And what we found out is we thought they were going to have the summer camp this summer, but that's not going to happen. But the park will be opening. They're going to be opening the park sometime in June. The parking lot will be completed and all the trees will be planted, and the playground, the basketball court, and the soccer fields will be completed and open. So that'll be a good thing for the public. They'll be able to use that part of it. We agreed to renew the contract again this year for another 2-year term, since we're not going to be doing the summer camp. So we're going to renew it again for 2 years. And the first year, our contribution will be up to 36,000, and that they will submit invoices to us what their expenses are. We also talked about other things that the recreation budget covers: the maintenance of the park, the utilities, the compostable toilets, garbage removal throughout the village, lawn mowing for various spots in the village. So it doesn't just pertain to the park. And let's see, and their budget for this year is 99,266. And like I said, this first year, our contribution, we agreed to do 36,000. Did I leave anything out, Griffin?
The increase in $500 per year.
Oh, we didn't do the increase this past year because they didn't ask us for it. So the second part of it will do 37,000 the following part of the second year of the contract. And I believe they've got the contract all set so that we should be able to move forward with that.
Yes, and the contract is, we've been given a copy of the contract and it's on the agenda, and we will get to it in a little while.
Great. One thing off our plate.
Yep, that was my feeling. Yeah, I have a comment to make about it when we get to it.
Okay,
But
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Another committee of the town board that I know has been very busy is the cemetery committee. And I was really pleased to be able to attend to 2 of their last meetings. Anyway, Ralph?
Yeah, on May 7th, we were over at the Spencer's Corners Burying Ground. It was a blustery, cold day, and a group of us got together. It was a photo op, but also a cleanup. We managed to get a lot of brush cleaned up, and we took some photographs. We're planning a second meeting. Another cleanup committee will be, cleanup meeting will be held. What we want to do is take small portions of the cemetery and photograph them so that we have a before photograph. And then we're going to do a little cleanup with this D2 biological solution that carefully cleans all the lichen off the stones. And it's a very excellent process that many of the conservation restoration companies use. It's D2. I ordered it online, and we have about a gallon of it. Claire is getting more of it also. Then, once we apply the D2 to a couple of stones, we'll take another photograph, so we'll have a before and an after. That will start to spread the word. We want to let people know that we're working on this cemetery project. This is going to be a process. It's longstanding. It took decades for the burying grounds to get in the condition that it's in right now. So it'll probably take many years of concerted effort to at least help arrest some of the problems that we have there. We're going to get some help from the Dutchess County Historical Society. We're going to contact the historian there. We also have members of the Northeast Historical Society who are doing some research on all of the monuments and the people who are buried there. Rhiannon Leo from the library is also working on that project. And we will get some help from the DAR in Rhinebeck. This is Sarah Hermans has expressed some interest in helping do some research. So that's going to be helpful. In addition, we're looking for funding. So funding will probably come from grants. We have a grant that was sent in to the Northern Dutchess Fund of the Berkshire Taconic organization, and we're hoping to do some work with the DAR. They do have grant funding that would be available at some time in the future. We're planning to have a table either at the Irondale Schoolhouse or also at the Farmers Market that will be run by the Spencer's Corners Burying Ground. And that's going to help spread the word. We want to get awareness going that we are serious about starting this process. It's going to take a long period of time, but little by little, we're working on it. There's a mapping that's being worked on right now. You know, it's going to be a long process.
Great. Thank you, Ralph.
Mm.
I realized that I jumped over some items on the agenda. I jumped over the fact that the planning, zoning, and building department reports were delivered by the clerk, and they were distributed to all of the board members.
Mhm.
And I think that's all that I had on that. And you didn't have any other report to make?
No.
Those are your reports?
We sent out the tax, the second notice is on the taxes this month. to
Okay,
About 147 parcels, and so money's been coming in, but at the end of the month, we'll be returning.
right. So we can have a report on that in June.
Yes.
One of the things which I did want to mention, which is also pertains to your office, is that we are looking to try to improve the town's website. I think things are getting posted on it very nicely. I would love to see the graphics of the website taken to another level, and some of the content of the website taken to another level. And I know we've had a submission from the planning department of some revised wording for their page on the website. And I think we're going to invite other departments of the town and boards to take a look at theirs. There's no report from the zoning review committee tonight, which So unless, I think we're now caught up with ourselves.
Mhm.
Anyway, thank you, Ralph, for that
Mhm.
full report. It's exciting what's going on up at Spencer's Corner. And one of the things which has really struck me about it is the historic nature of Spencer's Corners. It is for those who, I think everybody knows this, but it is the original Millerton, really. It's
Dating
the-
back to 1701.
It's where it all started. Millerton came later.
Yeah.
Uh,
By the way, you know, we do have members at the American Legion Post 178, and their historian is
Sean Clay.
Sean Clay, and very interested in the monuments. In fact, on Memorial Day, they go onto the cemetery and put down some flags. So we will probably be up there also on that day.
Yes. I'm glad you mentioned that because Memorial Day is coming up.
That's right.
And as usual, the Legion will be conducting a ceremony going around to all the cemeteries, but also a ceremony in town at the Legion Monument, which I hope everybody will have the opportunity to attend. Going on to item number 6 on the agenda. We have a proposal for renewal of our workers' comp. And what we received was a proposal from Emery and Webb for next year, but also offering us the opportunity for a 3-year renewal. We have examined the proposal from them for 1 year versus this 3-year, and it's our conclusion that we would do well to accept their 3-year renewal at $23,652 a year. So I would, unless there are any questions about that, I would entertain a motion to approve renewing our workers' comp insurance for 3 years.
So moved.
Leanna
Second.
moved, seconded by Ralph. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We have received audits from our auditor for we have 3 different sets of audits for the town clerk's office and tax collector and for the justice court. So item number 7, these audits have been distributed to the board. There were no issues that came to the attention of our auditor, which I think speaks well for everyone here at Town Hall. And makes our job much easier. So unless there are any questions, I would entertain a motion to accept the audits for the town clerk's office and the tax collector.
So moved. Second.
Motion by John and seconded by Griff. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And the next one is we've received an audit report for the Justice Court for the town of Northeast. Again, with no issues with that. So I would entertain a motion to accept that audit.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Did you get that?
Yeah, I put John.
Number 9, and this we talked about earlier. The town has a parcel of land on Red Pond Road. It is 0.641 acres. It's vacant land. There's no structure on it at this time. There used to be a structure on it that was known as the Mouse House because I think mice were raised there for laboratory research, but the mice are gone and the building is gone. At least the building's gone. Anyway, it is vacant. We do not have any anticipated town use for it at this point. And I would like to propose that the town be authorized to list this property for sale. I've talked with our Warren Raplansky, our attorney. He's prepared a resolution to permit us to do this. And it would, the procedure is that we would list it with a real estate agent. They would see what that produces in the way of offers to buy it and at what price. It would then come back to the town board to approve that purchase. And that approval would then be subject to permissive referendum. So this is just the beginning of this. And I should also say that I have had outreach from Hudson River Housing asking whether we would, before we list it, whether we could have a conversation with them and if they had felt that there was some possibility for housing on that site. My response was that at 0.6 acres, this is a very small piece of land. It is non-conforming. So we'll see. In any event, I am asking the board simply for authorization to list this property at this point. Are there any questions from the board? Any comments? Yes.
Could it be buildable?
That's questionable, but if somebody wants to explain how that might be, I think we should be open to listening to that.
Should a sale, go through down the road, where exactly does that revenue go?
To the town,
Just directly into?
to the town. Yeah, so one of the reasons for this is that with our highway garage project going on, with a lot of pressure on our finances and on the taxpayers who pay for it. My feeling is that we should be looking for any and all sources of additional revenue for the town. And this is one of them. If there are no questions, then I'd like to ask Tilly if she would read the resolution.
So moved.
Resolution authorizing the town supervisor to sign an agreement for the town sale of tax parcel number 133-889-7271-00-600612, located at Red Pond Road in the town of Northeast New York. Whereas the town of Northeast is the owner of a parcel of land located at Red Pond Road, having a tax parcel number 133-889-7271-00-600612-0000, consisting of approximately 0.641 acres. And whereas the town board has determined that the town has no present or contemplated future use for this parcel, and whereas the town board has determined that it would be in the best interest of the town to place this property on the market for sale, and whereas the town board has determined that the sale price of the property should be no less than the fair market value of the same, and whereas the town board has determined to authorize the town supervisor to solicit the services of one or more real estate brokers to provide an opinion of the value of the property and to provide a proposed listing agreement for the said property, which shall provide in relevant part a reasonable commission for the sale of the same. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute a sales agreement with one or more duly licensed real estate firms doing business in the town of Northeast area in a form and or substance as approved by the attorney to the town and the town supervisor.
Thank you, Tilly. Ralph made a motion to agree to this resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second. Ralph's motion. Second.
Okay, then I think if you would conduct.
Supervisor, oh, yes, right, sorry, I'm sorry. Supervisor Kennan,
Aye.
Councilman Cooper,
Aye.
Councilman Fidelli,
Aye.
Councilman Midwood,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison.
Aye.
Thank you. Let's see where we are now. item 10 on the agenda. This relates to the old highway garage, or the current highway garage on South Center Street. It's still the current highway garage. But as we start to get closer to the day when Bob and his crew will be able to move up to new quarters on Route 22, that building will become vacant. And one of the challenges which the board will have down the road at some point is to come up with to agree to some proposal or come up with some proposal for what to do with that site. It's not our job tonight to try and figure that out. But one of the things which will be useful for us going forward is to have a sense of the conditions in that site. And we have been made aware of a grant opportunity from the Long Island Sound Futures Fund. One might wonder how we relate to Long Island Sound, because it feels like that's quite a long way away. But as we all know, the Weebatuck flows into the 10-mile river. The 10-mile river flows into the Housatonic, and the Housatonic flows into Long Island Sound. So I think it's great that Long Island Sound is interested in protecting the water that flows into Long Island Sound from somewhere as far away from the sound as we are. I don't know whether this is a grant which they will see fit to fund, but Ty and Bond has offered to make the grant application for us for the price of $1,600. And no, excuse me, for the price of $1,500. And I think this is worth exploring. It is one of the things that we would need to have a better sense of as we get closer to figuring out what we will want to do with that site, is to know what we're dealing with at that site. So I would like to ask for the board's approval to move forward with a grant application to the Long Island Sound Futures Fund by the Ty and Bond for the price of $1,500. And I'm happy to take any questions about that, or
Do we know what Ty and Bond is going to be doing in this study?
they would be, I can read this to you. The one project of interest for the town is the old highway garage that fronts on Weebatuck Creek and Kelsey Brook, located in Zone 1 Aquifer Recharge Area for the 10-mile river watershed, the water source for Northeast Milton, Amelia, and Dover, which has a myriad of challenges related to environmental condition and flooding. The highway garage property was formerly the location of the town's salt shed, and the historic garage operations are likely to have contributed to contamination beneath the site. In our opinion, the highway garage restoration is a good candidate for funding for a planning grant under the Long Island Sound Futures Fund grant through the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. If awarded, the town would receive a grant for a feasibility study, concept design, and construction budget for the adaptive reuse of the former town highway department facility, which would address the site's historic impacts to the aquifer and the Weebatuck Creek, as well as utilize green infrastructure to improve water quality, which currently flows untreated into the creek from both the site and adjacent Center Street in the village of Milton. So it gives us information. It doesn't fund anything beyond that. It doesn't build anything. It doesn't commit us to building anything or doing anything, but it gives us ideas.
So the grant funds the study.
Yeah. So I think this is a worthwhile something for us to look into. So I would entertain a motion for you all to authorize me to agree to the grant study.
So
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay. New number. 11 contract time bond. Okay. This also has to do with tie and bond, but in a different, with a different subject matter. As you all know, tie and bond is the engineering firm which is working with the village on its planned wastewater system and is also working with the town on our wastewater district. Our wastewater district would be the boulevard area of the town. And the concept is that we would plan a wastewater district. The village would plan a wastewater district and a wastewater system, meaning the actual wastewater treatment plant. And then when we have these ready to go, they will be linked. We will be part of one wastewater system. But it is much easier for us each to move forward independently at this point in the process. The item which we have already agreed to is to hire Tire and Bond to do what's called a map plan and report for the wastewater district. These are these different steps, and there are a lot of them in this project. But this map plan and report, which is a very odd title, is something which gets us much closer to being able to do the preliminary engineering of the actual system. This involves looking at all of the parcels that are out in the boulevard and assessing them, including their environmental situation, their septic systems, and so on. And there is a secret compliance that's involved, which involves the retention of archaeological services and the phase 1 archaeological investigation called for 60 shovel tests. And it appears now that a fair number of additional shovel tests are needed. Therefore, they've come back to us and said this will imply an additional expense of $4,760 on top of the original contract amount of $26,000. As I have mentioned to the board before, we have these funds in hand because of the ARPA money, which the town has received and which was designated for water and wastewater systems. So we actually have the funds in hand for this. So I think this is an appropriate, we need to do these shovel tests. I'll let you all know when the shovel tests are being done in case you want to go out and observe. But I would ask the board to approve this additional amount for this contract.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on this? Otherwise, I think it's fairly straightforward. Okay.
I think I have to do a roll call.
Yes, I would like to, do you want to, yeah, I think roll call is fine on this.
Okay.
You got the first of the motion and the second?
Mhm. Ralph and
Yep, okay.
Griffin. Okay, Supervisor Cameron,
Aye.
Councilman Cooper,
Aye.
Councilman Fideli,
Aye.
Councilman Midwood,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison.
Aye.
Okay, item 12, revised item number 12 on our agenda is a renewal of a recreation contract for 2022 to 2024. There's no typo on the top of that, which should be 2024, with the Village of Millerton. And Griffin Lana spoke about recreation contract with the village before. One of the things which is very exciting about this is that we will have later this year an amazing recreational facility in this town. When it's completed, it's going to be really the standout recreational facility in Eastern Dutchess, I think, certainly in this corner of the county, with a lot of recreational opportunities for kids, for seniors, for all, for everybody. And I think one of the things which this community could use is a great place where people of all different types, different backgrounds, different history of the town can all get together and enjoy and recreate. So I'm delighted that we are going to renew a recreation contract with the village. Lana, do you have anything more on top of what you said earlier, or are you?
No,
happy
I'm
with-
good, thanks.
Okay. This contract comes to us with, it's not, it's essentially complete. We don't have a finished copy of it, but I spoke with our town attorney about it, and it is, the approval will be for the contract as it is now. And we'll make sure that all the punctuation is correct and it's the finished form. Would you, Tilly, could you read this resolution, please?
Sure. Resolution authorizing the town supervisor to execute a recreation contract for 2022 to 2024 with the Village of Millerton. Whereas the village has been operating a park recreation program for both the village and town residents and desires to continue such operation for the period from June 1st, 2022 through May 31st, 2024. And whereas the attorney to the village has prepared a proposed recreation contract for that time, providing for the essential terms and conditions of the agreement, which has been reviewed by the town's recreation committee, the town board, and the attorney to the town. And whereas the attorney to the town and the town board have determined that the provisions of the proposed contract are acceptable in form and substance, and that the execution of the same would be in the best interest of the town, now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to execute the proposed park recreation program agreement as prepared and amended by the attorney to the village in the same or substantially similar form as provided herein.
Okay, thank you.
Need a motion.
Could I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Lana. Second,
Second,
Ralph Fidelli. Do you want to take the roll call?
Supervisor Kennen,
Aye.
Councilman Cooper,
Aye.
Councilman Fideli,
aye.
Councilman Midwood,
Aye.
Councilwoman Morrison.
Aye.
Okay. At this point, we are open for public comment. Anyone in the public have comment? Anyone on?
Just land on that.
Okay.
Right now.
All right, thank you. Great, then we will get to the budget adjustment. We have a budget adjustment with an expense increase of $25,378, less an expense decrease of $15,378, less a revenue increase of $10,000 for a net of zero. Do I have an approval of the budget adjustment?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The board is in favor. Need water for this. And a special abstract dated April 25, 2022, totaling $488.22, broken down as follows. A fund, $488.22. Do I have a motion to approve the special abstract?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ralph, seconded by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried for the special abstract. We'll pass it around so that you can start signing it. I have an abstract dated May 12th, 2022 totaling $131,489.21, broken down as follows. A fund, $61,541.59. B fund, $2,418.88. DB fund, $32,660.85. Water District SW1, $29,707.50. ARPA, $2,660. T and A two escrow, $2,251.80. Payroll T and A, $248.59. Could I have a motion to accept the abstract?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Lana. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So the abstract is approved. I will pass this around for everybody. Hancock. Lana, you'll hopefully, when you're next in town hall, be able to sign that. These
Okay, I
abstracts.
think I'm gonna do it Monday.
Okay,
Okay,
yep, that's fine. We will move forward on the understanding that you will be signing them.
I'll definitely sign it.
Okay. Voucher Committee for June 2022, John Midwood and Lana Morrison. Hard to think that next month is June. We're gonna be halfway through the year. Feels like it just started. We have minutes of the meeting of April 14th, 2022, which were sent to the board by the clerk. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes unless there are any changes to them? Otherwise, I
So
entertain
moved.
a motion to approve them. Motion by Ralph Fidelli,
Second.
second by John Midwood. All in favor?
Aye.
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 I think we've beaten the clock. Unless there's anything else that anybody has on the board. One thing I will mention, we have a new clock. We're going from the serious to the sublime. This new clock down at the end is an atomic clock. Don't worry, it's not radioactive, but
Where-
it is,
this
this
one?
one takes its settings from the sort of national atomic clock, that I think is in Colorado, which is absolutely precise to the second. And one of the great things about it is when it changes to daylight savings or off daylight savings, it changes itself.
There you go.
So there's only one clock we still have to climb up and change, which is that one.
But it agrees with it too.
I hope so. Anyway, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
John, had something- did you have something?
I was gonna do a motion to adjourn.
He was gonna be quick.
Yeah.
John Midwood has made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you all.
You.
It'll be interesting to see how Lana will be able to tell us how this thing feels at her end. Bye, Lana.
Bye.